Yo, guys, the legend Johnny Giuliano just followed me back on Instagram, and I want to shout him out and thank him for connecting with me. And if you guys don't know Johnny Giuliano, he is basically one of the faces of a whole era called the SoundClick era. So this is where we know him from, and he was just a monster. He would do the beat making videos and just haunted beat making videos. I'd suggest if it's still up, go look for him. And today we're going to use his new kit called Drop It Off by Johnny Giuliano, and then we're going to use the classic Nexus for this beat. So you guys will get the musical stuff here, the MIDI. Okay, so let's open up the Nexus. It says there's an update. Okay, well, whatever. Okay, so one of the libraries we used back in the day was called the Dance Orchestra. So this one is the one, if you guys just want to buy one pack, this is the one we used to use. Has pretty much everything you guys need. So let me turn off my keyboard. Okay, so let's go to that tempo back then. Let's see what kind of tempo we were on back then. Probably like 130s, like slower trap. Okay, and let's see here, because I think FL Studio used to start at 130, not 140, if I'm not mistaken. So let's go to Dance Orchestra, and then we're going to look for hits, brass, any kind of strings. Okay, so these are categorized. Let's see. I want to start with something where we could play chords first. Let's see what this choir. Wow, this is crazy. Let me mark that as a favorite because that sounds crazy big. Okay, so we're going to play the chords A minor. Now what I want to get rid of is the reverb tail. So let's turn off reverb for now. And I want to pull back what's called the release time so that we don't like have the sound go on and on and on. I want it to stop and go. Okay, just like that. So we'll turn the reverb back on, but for now, let's just keep it this way. So let's play A minor. And then we could play a suspended chord here, which is taking the minor third down a half step. Really simple. Let's just start here, and then if we want to get fancy with chords, we'll switch it up. Okay, so really simple. I'm debating if I want to keep those gaps. Let's just hit Control Q, and that should fill out those gaps that I had playing truncated. So really, we're just getting rid of the reverb. We'll probably add our own reverb later. Now we need some kind of melodic tone. Now, Johnny Giuliano was known for his leads. Oops, I didn't mean to click that. So let's open up Nexus again. Now, I could try to play as fast as him, but, I don't practice scales enough. But let's go to the Dance Orchestra. Let's look for some kind of top line element like a flute, or those are bells. Let's see what we have here. Like a pluck or some kind of flute. Plucks were really big back then. If we want to, hold on, I forgot we got to add these 2D hits in here. This is also a staple for SoundClick era. So let's just play the root notes. 2 octaves of the bass. So notice I'm playing like that dun 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 dun, 1 2 3 dun. So I believe we're playing in triplets. It's hard to tell at the slow BPM. So let's hit Control Q. After I snap my grid to 1/3 beat, that will lock the triplets in. I think we're playing triplets. Yeah, okay. So we were playing triplets there. So triplets were another thing back then. If you guys struggle with arrangement, start categorizing your layers here. So firstly, we have a harmony layer. This is our chords. We also have embedded in there that dun 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 dun. That's a contrast layer. So this is both harmony and contrast. So we already have 2 of the 4 layers that we need. We also need the top line, and then we need the rhythm section here. So let's go to a different pattern. Let's open up Nexus one more again. Now this time I will try to play his style, but again, it's so unique that it takes a lot of practice here. But let's see what kind of lead sounds we have. Now, most of the time it's going to be a synthetic lead. It's not always a violin or anything. So let's see what kind of lead sounds we have. Okay, that's not going to work. So I need a lead, and then I'll show you guys how we used to. Let's start here, because I don't feel like going through 1,000 things. Let's go to where it says modification. We're going to turn on what's called portamento, switch this to legato mode, and switch the speed here. And I'll lock this so that it applies to other sounds too. But this is the feature that they had. You also want a pitch bend. And I think in the mod section, you can set your pitch bend range, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, pitch bend here, you want to turn this to 2 semitones, +2, -2, going down. Let's see what else we can find here. Johnny Juliano had really memorable top line leads, so I really got to take my time with this top line. Just trying to find a sound that fits over top the beat. Sounds like a weird sound here. It's a pretty unique sound here, even though this wouldn't necessarily be the sound he'd use, but I do like the vibe of it. So we're using that pitch bend. All right, so try to get those lined up to the grid. Let's hit Control Q. Now, I'm not going to mess with it here because of the pitch bend timing. We can't really quantize that, so let's just turn that down. That's more of a background top line element, but it is the top line element. Let's turn the choir down just a little bit more. So we could use a stronger top line here. And again, this is where it's going to take the most time, because he would be super expressive with his top lines. Type in some words here. And again, we're going to go to the mod, turn that portamento on. Let's go to legato. We want it to go fast, like 1/32. Lock that in. Here's the old retro. I'd recommend you guys turn off reverbs and delays, or just reverb in this case. This is producing little phrases, so I like that. Dun, 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 dun. Finger slipping on all the wrong notes. Of course, when I go to record, it's just hitting all the wrong notes. So even that lead is not as fast as a Johnny Giuliano lead would be. He could play really well, like in scales. I'm just not that versed with scale runs like that. Let's try to add some more notes just to make it sound more full. Just add like little accent sounds here. Maybe a sine wave, something a little bit cleaner here. So the leads. Well, this is dope. He would also play with a lot of dubsteppy sounds too, like vocoder sounds. So he had sounds like that, and this is funny because it sounds like his style actually. So let's add this in. Legato. Just gotta get the right sound here. Let's quantize some of the leads here. Now the thing is, we need to make sure these notes overlap just a little bit. Alright, now let's add that like final. So I want to combine this with another vocal sound here. Sounds pretty cool. Just adding fifths there, and then we're going to use a pitch bend. Let's use it on that last bar there. So I played it multiple times just to get a rhythm going. Okay, so everything can't be there all the time. So let's make this unique, and we need to pull back some elements. I think we need to pull back some of the choir. Maybe use a different sound. It's just too sustained of a sound, so I'm gonna pull that out. Here's where rhythm, we're gonna have to rely on rhythm and little chord stacks here and there. So we'll come back to the chord stacks. Let's start building in rhythm. Let's use his drum kit at johnnygiuliano.com. And let's start with the hi-hats first to get that rhythm going. And then let's hit Control L, send it to the mixer. So I want to do stuff they used to do back in the day, which is hi-hat rolls. Let's right click, fill each two steps. So I want to go 1, 2. Go to pattern mode. Where are we at here? So like right here, I want to roll on this third note. So let's go inside the piano roll here. And we're going to hit Control L to elongate this note. Hit Alt U to chop it up. Learn that from Chop Squad DJ. So now we have we're going to do the same thing here. Alt U, just change it to a different time multiplier. Then we can add little stutter steps in here. I see a place where I could add one. Okay, and then we'll just repeat. So everything after that point, I don't necessarily need in this case. I didn't realize I was making a long pattern. So we have 4 bars of that, which is 2 bars really. Let's go to song mode. Now we can turn off the metronome. Let's add some accent hi-hats in here. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2 snare. 1, 2 snare. So 1, 2 snare. Just add that little accent hi-hat. Let's find some snares. rock the brain. I love the snare. Let's find a kick, some percussion here. 1, 2. Let's add some. So I said Chewy because I think he produced that song Chewy, if I'm not mistaken. But that's from Wiz Khalifa stuff. So boom, 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 boom. So if you guys didn't know, Johnny Juliano was heavy behind Wiz's ascension, in my opinion. Like his sound, I mean. He basically made the sound of trap popular in SoundCloud. Let's make this kick hit a little bit harder, pre-computed. Let's see if we can swap out the sound. Let's just leave it as is, never mind. Is that Nexus back? Didn't realize we took out the choir. Now we need a bass line. Let's use some of his 808s. Now back then they would use synth bass. They wouldn't always use 808s. So let's see what we can do here. I'm gonna use a one shot. Actually, let's try this. So I played that all the way through just to see. Let's hit Alt Q, quantize. Take the lead sound out. Let's turn these hits down a little bit. Let's add a couple more snare bounces in here. I'm gonna switch up some of the kick pattern here. There we go. I had the kick in the wrong place. So I like that bass. Let's fix this kick here. I mean the bass, let's say. So SoundClick days were known for that hard snare and kick. Let's widen out the bass a little bit. See what happens if we lower that octave. There we go. The bass is strong. Shout out to Johnny Giuliano. They also use cymbals and open hi-hats. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. So 1 2. Let's run it back. 1 2 3 4 5 6 and 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 1 2 3 4 5 6 and let's get rid of that beginning. Let's trim that. So everything's trying to be loud. So let's start turning stuff down. Create a beat mix here, just so I can hear what stuff sounds like. I'm gonna move a little bit quick through the mixing here because this is not a mixing tutorial per se. So I turned everything down and now I'm gonna use a parametric EQ2 to turn stuff up so I could hear it at a normal level. And then I'll process it this way. That way we keep the dynamic of the beat without crushing it too much. Now back then we didn't use Fruity Soft Clipper in the same way. Let's drive it though, see what kind of sound we can get. Most kids turn this to the left today, but we used to turn it to the right. Now he would also have creative bass lines similar to a lead. He would almost use the bass as a melody. It was crazy. Now I'm using very basic rhythms here. Johnny Giuliano would go way more ham on the lead. His kit is at johnnygiuliano.com. Let's add a limiter just to see what kind of sound we can get out of it. Let's add like some kind of chord. I forgot to add that vocal sound in back in here, so I'm missing a sound. Let me turn off the limiter for a second. I forgot to add the vocal sound back. Oh, I think he has some funk chops in here. Now this is more of his modern kit, but I do like his vocal. Now, vocal chants were huge in the SoundClick day. So let's add that in. So boom, what? 1 2, get, what? I love how the sounds have like a time delay on them, so you don't have to manually line the times up. Shout out to Johnny Giuliano. Let's see what else I forgot what I typed in last time. Was it sign? Forgot how we got the vocals. How do we get there? Darn, I forgot what we even typed last time. Type of vocal. Let's add some of these like legato slurs in here. That was also his sound. That vibrato. bass is so strong. So it probably could go down an octave. I don't know if I like that octave. Who would have thought that bass would be that heavy though? Let's add another. Two snare, one, one. So 1, 2 snare, 1, 1, 2 snare, snare. That was kind of hard. That was accident, but sounds fire. Sorry, y'all. Control B by accident. All right, let's run this back. Now, instead of, you know what? Let's go in here. Instead of making it dum 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 dum, we're just gonna use the downbeats. That way, it's not so rhythmically offset in that very beginning, because there's not enough contrast rhythm for that to really be there. Let's take out these little triplet hits. Hit Control Shift to highlight these. Left click, and then hit Control Delete or Control X on Mac. He also has one shots in here. Here's the sound. They used to love this sound back then. Oh man. This was the sound though. That sound right there. He also used to do a really dope vocoder. Let me see if I could add some of that in here. Man, I'm just starting to remember all the stuff he would do. He's just so creative. This may or may not fit this beat, so don't like judge me for this. All right, let's do a basic saw. You want to usually use a really harmonic sound here, and we're gonna load this up. Basically, I need to send my voice as a side chain over here. So we're gonna just click here and just turn the volume down, and we're gonna open up vocoder. Or excuse me, Vocodex, and the carrier is our voice, so we need to right click, select our voice, and the synth is going to be wherever your synth track is. In this case, we're using the direct track, so as you guys can hear, I can talk through my synth. Okay, so now I need to figure out a phrase that I could say, and then we'll record that in. The only thing is you need to record into Edison in order to record this, so it's kind of hard to really explain this. But basically, I need to set the settings now, however I want it now, before we start recording. So let's add some unison in here to widen out the sound. And then we can make this more of a square distribution here by changing the bandwidth. It makes it more robotic. The more defined is to the left. The more harmonically rich is to the right. Okay, so let's figure out a phrase. It's hard to hear. Okay. Let's do something like that. All right, so let's record this into Edison. It's kind of difficult to record this way because you have to record audio and MIDI at the same time. So let's record input. Actually, let's record on play, not input. Record on play, hit record, hit stop twice. play with pitch bends and all this. Now, I should have picked a brighter synth because that one wasn't as bright as I expected. But here's what we recorded so far. Oh, let me see where this went. It's a little dark. I could have changed that distribution of harmonics to make that a little bit more clear. Okay, my mic's not even. Is it there? Where's it at? Gotta find that synth. Check. It's just the synth itself. Sometimes it's not. Check. Okay, so you might want to pick a brighter synth. We don't want to like get into minutia here because it's not a talk box. So I was doing I was doing and I was using the vibrato and using the pitch wheel to do the vibrato. So that's how I got that sound. We're going to record that one more time. Still not the craziest sound with the vocoder there, Vocodex, but close enough. Where again, that's the technique. You guys can master that further if you want. That came out sounding weird. That one came out sounding kind of weird. I didn't realize it was that dark. But let's just use the original, sounded the best. We're just gonna use this at the end. Let's actually move it over to here. To widen it out is add some stereo delay to the sample. Just double click, go to pre-computed effects. It's a little dark, but whatever. If you guys want the MIDI files, go to busyworksbeats.com/FL Studio. Thank you guys for watching. It's Game from busyworksbeats.com. Peace out, guys.